Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning and welcome to RPtv. Today is Wednesday, October 20th, 2021. Starting today, there is big news coming out of the cafeteria. Students will now be able to get more food. It will cost a little more money, but it could be well worth it. Callie has the details.
Starting today, the cafeteria will be introducing a la carte sales during lunch. Everyone will still receive their first lunch for free. After all students wanting free lunch have gone through the lunch line for the first time, students will have the opportunity to come through the cafe a second time and purchase an additional meal or items. This will be done via an announcement by the administration on lunch duty each period. Students will not be able to purchase a la carte items on their first pass through the line. Anyone who would like to purchase an additional full meal will be charged the current lunch price of $3.35. Anyone who would like to purchase just the entree of the day without any additional sides will be charged the a la carte price of $3. On Pizza Fridays, students who want to purchase an additional slice of plain pizza will be charged the current price of $2.30. An additional slice of pizza with toppings will be charged the current price of $2.75. Snacks and bottled water will also be available for purchase. All a la carte purchases are to be on account only. The only cash that will be accepted will be placed on the student's account. No change will be given out. Students with a negative balance will not be able to purchase a la carte items. Students will not be allowed to go into the negatives to purchase the a la carte items. All students must use their scannable school IDs when purchasing a la carte items. The high school IDs have not yet arrived from the vendor, so students may use a former year's school ID or a paper copy of this year's ID will be available to them to retrieve from the office during homeroom or from the RPHS staff on cafeteria duty. Students without a hard copy ID are encouraged to pick up a paper ID prior to their arrival in the lunchroom.
The NBA season is upon us, and while many fans are looking forward to the excitement, league officials are concerned about players and vaccinations. Cooper has that report.
Adam Silver, the basketball fan, would prefer to see Kyrie Irving on the court again with the Brooklyn Nets as soon as possible. Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, would prefer to see Irving vaccinated, Silver said Monday. He hopes Irving, one of the few players in the league who has not chosen to be vaccinated, changes his mind before long and clears a path to get back on the floor with the Nets. Irving cannot play for the Nets in large part because of rules unique to New York and San Francisco requiring vaccinations as a prerequisite for working. The Nets said last week that Irving would not be involved in team activities until he is eligible for a full participant.
Now it's time for announcements. Student Council's annual Halloween costume contest, Friday, October 29, 2021. Categories include scariest, funniest, most original, and best group or couple. To enter the contest, you must come to room 110 during homeroom to have your picture taken. Seniors can come to room 110 when you arrive during first period. Prizes will be awarded in each category. The Garden Club is hosting their annual pumpkin decorating contest. It's $10 to enter and a pumpkin is provided. All clubs, staff, homerooms, and families are encouraged to join. Voting forms can be picked up in the main office. Dance Club will have our meeting today, Wednesday, October 20th, on Zoom at 3:15 p.m. Please find Ms. Dombrowski's Zoom link in the Dance Club Google Classroom or email her for the link. School picture retakes will take place on Friday, October 29th. Newspaper Club, Thursday, October 21st at the Roseville Park Veterans Memorial Library. Please try to arrive by 3 p.m. If you have not yet submitted a permission slip to Ms. Robeson, please do so as soon as possible. If you need a permission slip, please see Ms. Robeson in room 2 before Thursday. French Club meeting, Friday, October 22nd. After school virtually. Questions asked Ms. Nezius. Art Club NAHS meeting, every Friday after school at the public library with permission slips. Questions asked Ms. Gutro. The Borough of Roseville Park will be hosting a flu vaccine clinic on Thursday, October 21st. The clinic is free for all residents in need of a flu vaccine. The clinic will take place at the Cassano Community Center from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. If you get a chance to stay out late tonight, make sure you check out the sky. A big, beautiful full moon will be on display. Callie has the details.
There won't be a Halloween tree looming in the sky this year because the full moon will be glowing brightly this week. Better known as the Hunter's Moon, the October moon will officially reach its fullest phase at 10:56 a.m. today on Wednesday, October 20th, 2021. So it will be looking big and bright for a few days. By the time Halloween rolls around on October 31st, the moon will only be 24% visible in its waning crescent phase. But some could argue that will make an eerie backdrop for any Halloween witches flying across the sky. Last year, because of the lunar cycle's timing, we had 2 full moons in October, one on October 1st and one on Halloween. As the second full moon during the same calendar month, that lunar occurrence was considered to be a rare blue moon on Halloween. Although the Hunter's Moon is the most popular nickname for the full October moon, referring to the hunting season, it also carries other nicknames, including the Blood Moon, according to the Farmer's Almanac and the Old Farmer's Almanac.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
In order to prevent youth violence, it's important to recognize the warning signs.
What could you do if your friend displays a lack of coping or conflict resolution skills? What would you do if you witnessed someone making overt threats of violence in pictures, videos, or spoken or written words?
What would you think if someone you know had appeared with dramatic changes in physical appearance?
What if they displayed a lack of discipline and repeatedly failed to follow rules?
Have you noticed someone using intimidation or bullying behaviors? You will have to contact school officials or local law enforcement.
Thanks for watching, have a great day, and stay tuned for CNN 10.
Hi, I'm Carl Azus. We hope your Wednesday's going well. We start today's show with a number, 200,000. That's an estimate of how many large containers are floating on ships off the coast of Southern California. It's a record-sized backlog for the Port of Los Angeles, along with the Port of Long Beach, which is right next to it. These two facilities bring in 40% of all the goods sent to the United States by sea. A port director says about 2 weeks' worth of work is anchored off the California coast, and retailers say the timing is particularly bad, with Christmas a little over 2 months away. The holiday season is the busiest shopping period of the year, and economic analysts say Americans are eager to buy gifts. But with the supply of goods so badly tangled at ports like the ones off California, some store shelves are empty. Managers can't say for sure when their next shipments will arrive, and critics say the U.S. government's efforts to try to get things moving aren't enough. Transporting goods is just one part of the supply chain problem. In some instances, factories haven't been able to keep up with demand for the things they make. Some have been closed on and off as cases of COVID have come and gone. Rules and restrictions have kept transport workers from moving around freely or limited the hours when they can do that. And these challenges aren't just affecting the U.S. As economies have bounced back from the shutdowns of the COVID pandemic, demand for goods and commodities like oil has increased tremendously. There aren't enough containers to put things in. There aren't enough ships to put them on. And the higher need for shipping has resulted in soaring costs to do it. Here's how all of this is playing out for a slot car company that's worried about having enough toys to sell for Christmas.
In this small New Jersey office, a Herculean attempt is underway. It's the unofficial logistics center for Carrera Revel, working desperately to get their toys into the U.S. in time for this holiday season.
Okay, just giving you an update on the container situation in the moment.
President Frank Thiessen is manning the operation. Had you ever worked in logistics before?
Only peripherally, not directly.
Why did you have to get directly involved into logistics?
Because of the global supply chain challenges that we are facing.
Cargo vessels, order numbers, and arrival dates, all tracked with precision.
Pretty much the first thing in the morning is really checking the backlog in the warehouse.
Boxes of toys of the well-known slot car maker are stuck in their warehouses in China, waiting for a ride.
We still have about 25-30 containers which are just missing, which will not be here.
That's 30% of their holiday product, just one of many companies dealing with a supply chain nightmare. With port congestion, containers shipped in May are just arriving to Carrera Revel's U.S. warehouse in Atlanta, 5 months behind schedule.
We have seen such a surge in the last 90 days.
Angela Higgs runs the freight forwarding company for Carrera Revel, tasked with receiving the toys and getting them out to retailers as quickly as possible.
It's been one delay after another, and we've, of course, been pushing and pushing and pushing, but these delays are inevitable right now.
With nearly every U.S. port facing a backlog, the warehouse is using all of them, piecing together a working supply chain.
We're just going everywhere we can. Otherwise, these goods are not going to get to the stores, and I'm not going to have anyone missing out on their toys this season.
To try to help with that, President Biden announced 2 major ports in California will move to operate 24/7. But for Thiessen, the problem now moves from the sea to the land. Does that help you guys?
No, it doesn't help. It just doesn't alleviate the problem, which we then have once the containers are all on board. There are not enough trucks, there are not enough freight trains to move the containers inland.
Vanessa Yurkevich, CNN, East Brunswick, New Jersey.
10-second trivia. In 1838, the first photograph of people was captured in what city? New York, New York, Paris, France, London, England, or Gettysburg, Pennsylvania? Louis Daguerre is believed to have captured the first photo of people in Paris, France. And here it is, the Boulevard du Temple, Paris. The people we mentioned looked like stick figures in the bottom left. Experts say there were probably others moving around, but because it took several minutes back then to capture a picture, only those who were in place long enough showed up. It's believed one was having his shoes shined. Of course, there were no cars on the streets then. Those wouldn't show up for decades. Pedestrians, horses, and carriages would have crisscrossed the City of Light. And now, there's some tension involving the modes of transportation used. Jim Bitterman takes us to the French capital.
Out on the graceful avenues and boulevards of Paris, a battle has been looming. A century and a half after Baron Haussmann plowed through large parts of the city to straighten out and broaden the narrow, twisted streets, the mayor of Paris, Anne Hidalgo, a kind of anti-Haussmann, has slowly been reducing the size of thoroughfares for years, part of her environmental plan to clean up air pollution and make the city friendlier for bicycles and other two-wheel vehicles like electric scooters. The upshot is a growing battle between the Parisians, who love two-wheeled transportation,
I think it could be a good idea not to have cars in the town centers,
and the motorists, who are wed to four wheels.
It's a bit of a war of the bikes and scooters against cars.
High-speed lanes along the Seine, which once whisked suburbanites to and from Paris each day, have been shut down to make room for joggers, cyclists, and picnic tables. All part of the Paris administration's dream of ridding Paris as much as possible of cars.
So we want to transform public space, and today public space is occupied by cars, car drivers. We have half of the public space in Paris which is dedicated to cars.
But it's not just the repurposing of the public space. Just as bad, say motorists, is the reduction of the speed limit on most streets in town to 30 kilometers. That's just over 18 miles an hour. The constant flashes of speed radar cameras bear witness to how many motorists just can't bring themselves to go that slow. Drivers say the reduced speed limits are just another way to strangle the cars out of the city. The head of the Motorists Association claims commuters have no alternatives to using their cars because public transportation is overcrowded and often unreliable.
For those who live around Paris, it's really unfair. They need their car and they can't go to work. It's something incredible.
And so while Paris has taken major action to rid the streets of automobiles and make the city more bicycle friendly, going green is not proving to be politically very simple. Jim Bitterman, CNN, Paris.
From struggles over the future, we are going back to the past. A scuba diver in Israel recently made an amazing discovery. He found a sword with a 3-foot-long blade along with stone and metal anchors and pottery fragments. Because the artifacts were relatively close to a Crusader fortress, experts believe they date back to the Crusades, which were carried out from 1096 to the late 1200s. An Israeli historian says it's rare to find a sword in such perfect condition. It was probably buried under a deep layer of sand without a lot of oxygen, and waves and currents apparently shifted that sand recently so the diver could see it. With all the rocks and shells on it, the sword currently weighs more than 11 pounds. When it was new 900 years ago, it probably weighed between 2 to 4 pounds. Archaeologists plan to look for more artifacts in the area. At first glance, this is a lot to take in. If you guessed it has something to do with the balloon, you guessed right. This is the first ever Balloon World Cup. Competitors stumble around a court that's supposed to resemble a living room with a car in it and hit the balloon in an upward direction, but one that makes it hard for their opponent to get it. If you hit it in a place that he can't reach, you win points. This involved competitors from 32 countries, including the Americans who inspired it when their home balloon game went viral online. So it's really blown up. Now, even if it looks a little balloony and predicting the winner's a toss-up, no one competes balone, and losing could really deflate one's ego. So hopefully a little airtime will heal him enough to where he wants to knock around another day. Broadneck High School, shout out to you, our viewers in Annapolis, Maryland. Thank you for watching the show. I'm Carl Azus for CNN.